Okay, here I am on this fine Sunday, thinking that I can fix anything. And what I have is Holly's exhaust manifold in her Saturn view cracked, and it's really noisy. So I went down to trusty pull apart, and I was able to pull this one out of an identical vehicle. I was kind of concerned because exhaust manifold bolts are notoriously hard, difficult to remove because of the length of time they've been in and the heat stress that they're under. But these bolts seem to come out fairly easy. It was the tailpipe was cut. This is just upstream of the catalytic converter, and so someone had already cut this, so I didn't have to deal with these bolts right here until I got it home. And I soaked them overnight with PB Blaster lubricant, and they were very difficult to come out, and this was just on the ground. So the next thing I needed, also lubricated the bolts on the view on the car itself overnight, and it was really difficult to get to, and I'll show you here in a second why that is. But I was able to loosen the bolts finally on the car itself. So, I wanted to do all of that before I went out and got the exhaust manifold and the gasket and all that. But it's back here, as you can see. There's the exhaust manifold, and I don't know if you can see, this is where I tried to put a patch on it with this high temperature polymer stuff that I had, but I didn't hold out much hope for that. But these bolts I've started to loosen already back there, and I've already checked the bolts on the manifold itself. So all that's left to do is to take the old manifold off. So wish me luck. I'll get back to you. Okay, I have successfully removed the bolts from where the header connects to the rest of the exhaust, as you can see. I had a concern because 2 of the 3 studs came out, as you would hope they would, but then the third one, the bolt came away from the stud. So the stud was still in there, but there was enough play. As you can see, that's got a little piece of flex hose right there that flexed, and I was able to pull it away. So now all that's left to do is remove the bolts from the engine itself. So wish me luck. Bolts. So this is the problem. Even though, so my high temp polymer probably did seal this side, but if you turn it over, there was no way that I could have known it was cracked all the way through. So there's your problem, boy. Now, one thing I didn't anticipate was these are the 10 nuts and bolts that came out. But what I didn't anticipate is that the whole stud would come out. And it didn't do that on 2 of the 10. As you can see there, the stud stayed in, but the nut came off. So why is this a problem? Well, it could make it difficult in setting the gasket in place, because ideally you put the gasket on over the studs hold the gasket in place, you don't have to worry about that. So I have 1 or 2 things I could do. I'm going to go back down to AutoZone and see, on the chance that they have these bolts and nuts. Really, a professional would say you'd want to go ahead and replace them anyway. But in the event they don't, I don't know if you can see that head, but it's like a Torx configuration. So maybe they have a socket where I can get these things apart, put the studs in first, and then, you know, go from there. So go down to AutoZone and see what they got. So AutoZone said that they could get these studs and nuts, but they'd have to order them. So as usual, I didn't plan ahead very well. But what I was able to find over there was something I didn't even know existed. Star socket set. So I'm going to try to take these apart with this star socket here. And I thought ahead at least before I went to AutoZone and soaked them down with this PB blaster. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, I was successful in removing the studs from the nuts. There's the remaining 8 studs. So now I have to insert them into the exhaust manifold. I have a mirror that I'm going to use to help me with it, but I don't know if I can get the phone in there and show you where they go. So I'll insert those studs and then put the gasket on and hopefully the manifold back on. Okay, all the studs are in. Let me use my mirror to show you. The manifold, the gasket is in place, and we're just waiting for the manifold to go on now. But much to my dismay, when I looked closely at this used manifold that I pulled off of a vehicle at pull apart, I don't know if you can see it, but there is a hairline crack, and it's about in the same place as the one I just took off. So apparently this is a characteristic of these GM manifolds at a certain age. Wish I'd have looked closer at that. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and seal it with that polymer, and this time, now that I have it out of the car, I'm going to seal it all the way around, because I still have confidence in that stuff. It's a really high-tech, high-temperature polymer. It should do the trick. If it doesn't, it looks like I'll be going through this again, but this time I'll be using a brand new manifold, which is about 180 bucks. But, you know, I thought I could maybe save a few dollars. This one was $20, so it's just be the aggravation of having to pull this one off and put the new one on, but it really hasn't been that bad, so we'll seal it up. Okay, so this is pretty amazing stuff. It's called Megatherm High Temp Titanium Polymer Repair Compound, and it's a 2-part putty that you cut a piece off and then knead it until it's all uniform in color, and then apply it. I'm going to be applying it here and then on the underside. So hopefully that's going to do the trick on this new one. I don't think that crack goes all the way through, so let's hope it doesn't.